Hello, and thank you for tuning into this GLM tutorial with Cobb Community Foundation. I'm Audra Clodfelter. I'm an implementation specialist with Foundit Technologies. I'm responsible for leading the staff at Cobb Community Foundation through the implementation of this new software, and I'm here to provide a tutorial to you on using the Cobb Community Foundation's online grant portal and walk you through the application basics. Going to share my screen and show you what this application process will look like in your site. So you log into or you visit the website for the first time. You're going to want to pay attention to the text in on your screen. If you're a new user, you're going to go ahead and click Create Account. Existing users, of course, log in as if you have already have your password and account set up. Uh, and if you're not sure if someone in your organization has already registered with the system, don't create a new account at this time. Rather, reach out to Shelly Owens at shelly@cobbfoundation.org to receive your login credentials. The reason this is important is once an organization has been registered with the site, we don't want duplicate organizations being added. Rather, we would like you to contact the Community Foundation. They can add you to your organization on their end as an administrator. So if you're confident that no one else in your organization has created an account with within the GLM system, then feel free to begin this account creation process. I'm going to go ahead and click Create New Account and walk through this as if I am a brand new user. I do want to point out all of the demonstrating I'm doing today is in what's called the sandbox, and so you'll see the sandbox watermark throughout the site as I'm working. The live site, which is what you will be using as the applicant, is identical to this experience just without the sandbox watermark. We have the sandbox so that our admins can test and build and create without, without needing a lot of fake applicant information or a lot of tested applications in the live site. So that is the only difference between the sandbox and the live site. And I am going to be doing my demonstration in the sandbox. So first we'll need the organization name. Of course, I'm going to create some fake data for you, but you're going to follow these instructions throughout. Enter in the information that is being asked, that is required. Anything that's optional and you want to include it, by all means, go ahead and include that. Foundit Technology has staff across the United States, and I am located in Southern Illinois. So I'm just going to enter in that information, and that's the organization information. The next is user information. So I, as the applicant, am going to register the organization and then add myself. And I'm going to copy that address. If you have a preferred name, if you use your middle name as your first name or something to that effect, you can enter it on the registration page. If you use a middle initial, feel free to enter that in as well. So I've copied in that address information. I'll click next, and the next organization role is required. And it will, as you've noticed, it will flag you if you miss any of that required information. Next, you're going to be asked if you are the organization's executive officer. If you answer yes, you'll be prompted to answer additional executive officer information. That is all of those optional questions from the top that you did not answer. You have a second opportunity to complete that. If you answer no, and I know I said executive director in my role, but we're going to just demonstrate this. If you say no and click next, you'll have the opportunity to enter information in for your executive officer. And okay. And now I need to set my password. And create an account. If I were using a real email address, and as you may have noticed, it's very explicit that it's a fake email address. If I were using a real email address, my inbox, I would receive an email from administrator@grantinterface.com. And you have three options here. You can confirm that you received the email, continue without checking, or select that you have not received the email. If you select this last, you'll be prompted to send the email again. So administrator@grantinterface.com is the system email where all of our emails are coming from. So if you submit an application, if there's information missing from your application, or you receive a deadline reminder, it's going to come from this administrator@grantinterface.com. So you want to make sure that you add that to your contacts. Or mark it in such a way that it's not going to land in your spam or your junk folder. I'm going to just continue without checking. But we do want to make sure that you are receiving emails from our system. So once we have created that account, we've got our login credentials, we're ready to apply. In the case of Cobb Community Foundation, the CNP application and Cobb Thrives Gift Guide applications both use an eligibility quiz. I'm going to pause the recording. Okay, once you are to this point and you see these eligibility quizzes. So the purpose of the eligibility quiz is to answer a few questions to determine if you do actually qualify for the grant application that you are seeking. So you'll want to begin. We're going to use the CNP as an example. We'll start the eligibility quiz and we'll go through and answer these questions. You'll submit eligibility. You'll receive that notification and we'll continue. All right, so based on my answers, I am eligible for the following: the CNP application. So I'm going to go ahead and apply. Our technology is built with skip technology in mind. So there are several questions built into these applications that, based on your answer to the first question, will unlock a series of other questions. This way you're not seeing the full application, you're only seeing the questions that are specific to you and your organization type. So I'm a 501c3, and now these 501c3 questions have popped up. If I were to answer that I'm using a fiscal sponsor or faith-based government entity, it's all based on how you answer these questions. I will upload a copy of my 990, or in this case, a demo, a demo document. And you need a copy of your Georgia state exemption in this case as well. Tell us about your organization. So you're just going to answer in these text box box questions, uh, you'll notice that we use characters instead of words. So you'll want to make sure you're aware of your character limit. Everybody's got a mission statement. And of course, you'll want to give more thorough answers than what I am providing here for demonstration purposes. And then a copy of your organization's logo. Pretty basic from here on out. We're just looking for, oh, you'll want to use a specific, you'll want to use a JPEG file. Make sure that it's saved as a JPEG. I don't know if I have a JPEG to share. There we go. And again, so this table you'll want to complete just like you would a resume, right? When we don't need all of those. You can see the asterisk will tell you what is required. And I'm just going to give some demo answers here. So so that we can, walk through this process. Professional headshot as well as a copy of your resume and or CV are required for this CNP application. Name and title of person completing this organization, as well as applicant signature. Of course, your electronic signature will serve as your signature for this application, and I'm going to submit. So that's a very basic, I'm just walking through this very quickly for the first time. I'm able to complete this application all in one sitting, and I'm just able to submit and go. Once it's submitted, you're going to land on your applicant dashboard. From here on out, anytime you log into your site, you will land on your applicant dashboard. This has different information. You can see what you've applied for, the eligibility quizzes that you've taken. You can view your application. You cannot make any changes to it at this time. Once it's submitted, you can't make changes. However, you can contact your community foundation if you find that you uploaded the incorrect document or there's a piece of information that's wrong. Reach out to the community foundation, let them know. They can revert your application back to incomplete. Here you would have the option to edit your application. I do want to show you what it looks like. So I'm going to go up to the top of my screen to the apply button. I'll show you what this looks like if you maybe can't complete that application all in one sitting, what workflow you need to choose. So let's take this eligibility quiz, and I'm not located in Cobb County, but for today I am. And we'll submit that eligibility and continue. So we're going to apply for this application. And it's the same concept with this application. Based on the answer that you provide here, we'll determine how you move forward. And I'm going to select 501c3 again. And then I have off screen, I am uploading my documents. So while we're in this application, I want to demonstrate a couple of things. First of all, this, when we get into this question group about fields of interest, secondary field of interest, gift requests, this might not be something that you are 100% familiar with. Or maybe you're someone who is using a fiscal sponsor and you don't have all of that fiscal sponsor's information. At the top of your screen, at the top of the application, you do have something called the Collaborate feature that is available. So if I choose Collaborate, I have the ability to invite someone into my application. So it's important to note when I create an account with the Clodfelter Family Foundation, I, as that applicant, am the only one who has visibility into my application. If a second person from the Clodfelter Family Foundation has an account with this GLM system and they are working on their own application, we can't see into each other's applications. But I can use Collaborate to invite that individual to input information into my application. So if there's ever a case where you are working in your application and you need someone from finance or someone from your fiscal sponsor to come into your specific application and contribute, you'll use the Collaborate tool. What this looks like, you'll type in the email address, you can prompt them with a message, add financials. You may also be having an offline conversation with them to clarify what you need from them. So the message space is optional. But after that, you can select your permissions, view, edit, or submit. These do compound on one another, so someone with the ability to submit can also edit and view. So you can use Collaborate. The person will receive an email address with a link inviting them into the application where they're able to either view, edit, or submit the application on your behalf. So I'm going to invite myself into this application. Once that's done, once this person has achieved what you want from them, you can remove them as a collaborator. You can also at any time edit their level of permissions, and if you need to, you can resend that invitation. Excuse me. The other thing of note, we can close some of our drop-down boxes. Anytime you answer a question, your application is automatically saving. So if you make a few selections and you get called away from your computer and the system logs you out, you're not starting over from the beginning. You can go log back in, and from that apply page, you'll see from that dashboard the ability to edit the application. And I'll show you what that looks like. So if we scroll to the bottom, I'm gonna actually properly save the application because I know I'm walking away and I can't finish it today. So I'll click Save Application. It will let me know what has not been answered. That's okay. I'll come back to it. And if I go to my apply page, I'm sorry, my dashboard. So if I click home and I go back to my applicant dashboard, you see that I have the option to edit my application. So I can go back in and complete that application anytime before the deadline. Let's see. Oh, another feature for you to we can demonstrate to you is our duplicate process or a duplicate request reminder. Once you have started an application for either of these, any process within the Cobb Community Foundation system, you can start another application. So if your organization does have maybe two departments or two programs and two separate requests, you can apply a second time. However, if you log into the system and maybe you just have forgotten that you've started an application, our system will remind you that you do have an application in process. You can continue from here. You can click apply to start a new process, start a new request, um, or you can click on that URL and it will take you right back to where you were working in the original application. Uh, and, and so, yes, it is possible for you to have more than one request in the system. Once you are complete, you can submit an application at any time if you find that maybe you do have a duplicate request in the system, or maybe you are no longer going to move forward with a request. You do also have the option of abandoning a request. This will just move it into the historical request on your dashboard. That's the applicant tutorial in its um, in a nutshell, I guess. So anything that you do need to access, start with your dashboard to resume applications, start on the apply page to actually take that eligibility quiz and get started on your applications. And do remember to add administrator@grantinterface.com to your list of approved contacts in your email. And if you have more than one contact within your organization that needs to be added to the system, make sure to reach out to Shelly to have her add that to your system. That concludes my training for today. Thank you for your time.